guys, okay, welcome. So this is another one of those sessions where we will be speaking to you from our home, and I'm sure you guys who are in Sri Lanka, we are waiting to do church again, but we don't know when that would be. Okay, we are just seeing whether we can whether the situation here in Sri Lanka will normalize and we can get back to where we were doing church. We really enjoyed the last our last home, and hopefully we'll be there soon. But until then, every session that is on Tuesday will be done on the WOW Transcend group, and then of course the media team will take it to YouTube. So we are continuing with our sessions. Okay, who is Satan? And today it's going to be really interesting, because in a setting like this, I can sometimes, it's not a preach, so I can teach a bit better and really get into the word a bit. So I'm just going to show you some things that might surprise you, some things that you've never heard before. So listen in very, very carefully, very keenly. And if you're watching me on YouTube a little later on, at least when it goes out on public, just understand that I get revelation, but I also do a lot of research. I don't just jump into something. The Lord will speak to me about something, and then I would read and dwell and search and research the stuff that I put out there. It's not like it's just pure revelation. You know, it comes with a lot of reading. I read. You will be surprised how much I read. I can read very fast and absorb very fast, and so I read a lot, to say the least. Okay, so a lot of this stuff also comes from a revelation, but also checking out whether this kind of stuff has been there historically, what it's about. Okay, and a lot of rabbinic literature, a lot of Jewish rabbinic literature, to understand their culture and the context. A lot of times we miss the whole story because we're coming out of a cultural context and we don't understand what they were teaching at that time and what their context was at that time, right? So anyway, that's the foundation. Let's get to this. Who is Satan? Okay, and I promise you, today we've called it Christ the Victor. Okay, because when you get this, you're going to come out feeling empowered and victorious. Anytime we think, now please read between the lines as well, okay, because very few things can be said in a sentence, in a word. You have to catch it to the spirit of what I'm saying. There's so many things that are unsaid that are more true than the things that are said, okay. So just get that, and follow the rest of the teachings. There were 3 other sessions on who is Satan. One starting, I think, on the Day of Atonement. Okay, that was phenomenal. It's called Universalism and Atonement and all that. Just listen to that. Okay, it'll set you up for this. So anyway, going back, just to understand that anytime you think that Prophet Kobus, my mentor, always used to focus on the fact that anytime we think something is externalized and exogenous and outside of us, we don't have control. Okay, and when we don't have control, we can always pass it on to, oh, the devil is attacking me, Satan is doing something, and poor me, I'm caught in this galactic cosmic battle for my soul. Okay, and is there a component of that? I just want to have a good balance on this. Is there a component of some galactic cosmic battle with a purpose and a plan for our future? Because the Bible clearly says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and thrones and dominions, right? Okay, sure, but that cannot be taken out of context, and I'm just going to break down this galactic cosmic battle that has been so propped up by Christianity for years that it has actually made a lot of the Pentecostal charismatic churches powerless, because there is this powerful Satan who is doing certain things. And I just want to bring it into perspective. That's all. I'm not saying that there is no Satan, okay? I'm just saying I want to bring it into perspective, and I want to present to you today Christ as the victor, the one who has all the victory, okay? And when you get this, you will understand how to tackle the vile attacks of the enemy, okay? That's what Paul talks about. You got to put on the helmet of salvation. Salvation means Jesus. The word salvation there is Yeshua. Okay, you got to put on the helmet of salvation first, and then you got to have the belt of truth. And I mean, if you go into Ephesians and understand that he's talking of the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth. If you get those things and understand why he's saying salvation is the helmet is salvation, the belt is truth, the breastplate is righteousness, you'll understand. You go back to my atonement series, you'll understand that he's talking about that we need to wear an armor that will stop the darts of the enemy coming to us. And so righteousness means justice. That means in our heart should be justice, always justice, weighing the balance of judiciousness, always checking what is right and wrong, good and evil, always having the ability to be a good judge. Okay, that's the righteousness, the breastplate. And then you see the belt of truth. The belt of truth holds everything up. Truth and righteousness work together. Okay, so anyway, that's a whole another thing. I'll jump into it maybe down the road. Okay, it's going to be powerful. But let me rewind historically. Believe me, guys, it's going to really blow you away. Okay, when you get what I'm telling and teaching today, it'll blow you away. Okay, let's rewind back to all the way into Genesis and the Old Testament, and you'll realize that it's a very strange understanding. The Jews didn't have a concept of the devil like that. Like there is no distinguishing between the devil, between Satan, who they call Satan, and God in the Old Testament. Now that's, I mean, some of you might get chills when you think. I'm not saying that Satan is God, but I'm just trying to say I don't think they understood the word Satan in the way we in the Pentecostal charismatic sort of things understand it. And I don't think Jesus himself spoke to Satan as this mega personality. Okay, and interestingly, throughout the Old Testament, there is no word Satan. There is always before Satan there's a prefix, and it's the Satan. Okay, the Satan. Okay, and so that's interesting. And also in one place, I think it was where was it? There was, I think it was in 2 Chronicles 24. There are two stories. Okay, I'm going to give you the story. Two stories. 2 Chronicles 24. It talks of David and numbering his army. You remember the story? And then an angel of the Lord came and stood with a sword. You remember? An angel of death stood. You remember the story? Okay. And so he says in 2 Chronicles 24, and then I think it was 1 Kings 21. Okay, the difference, the same story, but one says Satan caused David to, and one says David numbered. Okay, so which one is it? Was it Satan or David? Who numbered the army so that the people got destroyed? And so when you look at that, you realize that the word there again is not Satan. It's normally it says throughout the Bible in the Old Testament it says the Satan, but in this one it says a Satan. Wow! So there's the Satan, like the USA of America, and then you get a Satan. Okay, like maybe a American from the country. Okay, I don't know. I'm just trying to say. I mean, this is the way we can see this, because it was a Satan who challenged him, not the Satan. Okay, and in one place it says David numbered, and one it says a Satan prompted David to number. Okay, so throughout the Bible it's the Satan, and if you look, and it's just quite amazing that how the heck did we get from having no concept of Satan in the Old Testament, right, in the way Pentecostal tradition has it. That's when I say no concept, like there is Satan, but not in the way that Pentecostal tradition has it. Okay, and how did we get to that when the Hebraic understanding wasn't? And how do we manage to empower this thing so much? Okay, and now I'm going to show you something, and this is going to be, I'm going to just set a base for you to understand. I'll give you a bit of narrative, right? Throughout the Old Testament, if you understand, they understood, the Old Testament people understood as God as supreme. Okay, God was supreme, and if you look at the stories of the Old Testament, especially from even like books of the I think it is called epic. I'm not sure. One of the older books that are outside the Bible, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Okay, but anyway, the books that are outside, that was found in the Red Sea, with the Red Sea Scrolls. Okay, Dead Sea Scrolls. That was with the Book of Enoch and others. I'm not dived into those books. I mean, I've got this on my plate. I mean, this is a whole lot of books here, and I'm just trying to figure it out from here. And I'm sure many are going into the Book of Enoch and stuff like that. I said, please go in there and read those stories. Those books are valuable, and it's absolutely get some understanding from it. But I heard that in the Book of Jubilee, that is quoted from the Bible, again it shows that all these angels or demons or whatever you want to call it, okay, were always talking to God. There was no, like, they could not do anything without sort of God allowing them to, except for in the book of Enoch. Enoch gives a different story, but the book of Jubilee as well, maybe as old, talks about, Enoch gives a complete another story. Okay, so here's the thing. All these books, confusing thought process, you know, I mean, how did we get into this situation? First is, you need to understand that each book, for me personally, I've come into a place in my understanding that each book is written by an author, and that's why they put an author's name. Whether it's Isaiah, or whether it's Moses, or whether, you know, whoever is writing the books, whether it's David or whatever, you know, they're writing out of their own heart. They're writing out of their own experience, okay? So, and that's why the Bible is beautiful, because it's the word that has become flesh. So you must understand that when you're reading the Bible, it's a man talking from his understanding and trying to explain. I'm not saying that it's not holy and sacred. It is absolutely authentic, holy and sacred according to that man's experience, okay? And I've explained this in the Moses and the law, and how God gave him a mirror. And the law was a mirror of slave, master, and slave, because that's who they were. So today, that becomes irrelevant for you, because the mirror is not. The mirror can be who you are. So what will speak to you is your conscience. Your conscience is a direct mirror of yourself. And throughout the Bible, the mirror image is depicted. I mean, the spirit on the face of the water, which is the mirror. Throughout the Bible, he separated the sky from the earth, and he's as above, so beneath. You know, that's a mirror. You know, as he is, so will you be. You know, when he comes to Pharaoh, he says, "Who are you? I am you." You know, it's the mirror. You're a Pharaoh. You take my firstborn, I will take your firstborn. You throw a stick, you throw a snake, I will become a snake. You know, you see the mirror constantly. God is mirroring the heart of man. It's really interesting, and that's his name, Jehovah. I am who I am, Yahweh. Okay, I am who you will be, or I am who, whatever. The pure in heart will see God. I've explained all this. Okay. Now, in understanding this God is speaking to us throughout the Bible and throughout the Old Testament. You'll see constantly that he hardens people's hearts. And this is an interesting concept. You just understand why, when you say hardness of heart, he's not meaning that he's hardening your heart. What literally Moses' thing was, go tell Moses that I am who he is. And so when he hardens his heart, it will exactly mirror exactly like that. Okay, and he'll get what his heart is now insensitive to. The hardness of heart means not sensitive. And that's why the circumcision of the heart is a big thing. If you understand what the circumcision means, it means to really resensitize. Wow, we're getting to a big one here. That's why the destroyer will destroy, and he'll put coals on your head. And the Bible talks about it's like putting coals. He says, I will repay, because I will put coals on, it'll be like putting coals on your enemy's head. That means he gives them coals, meaning that is, the enemy moves according to your man's conscience. Okay, that's why he says, don't worry about your enemy, you forgive him, let go, and that will make it like fire, like coals on his head, and then I will repay him according to the coals on his head. I hope you're getting all this. I know it can be a bit heavy, but I'm just trying to explain. God moves according to our hearts. It's my personal experience, okay? Now, and guess what? If God moves according to our hearts, demons move according to our hearts. I always say the demons sit on the seat of our emotions, okay? Now, am I telling you that every bad thing that happens to people are because of your heart? I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. So that's a powerful caveat and indemnity for you to understand. I'm not saying that every bad thing that happens to people is because of the wickedness of their heart or the hardness of their heart. Actually, not wickedness, but hardness of their heart. I'm not saying that, okay? Bad things happen to good people, okay? That's because these entities, okay, they have a fallen aspect to them. Please understand, I'm not going away from the fact that they don't have a fallen aspect to them. They have an aspect of unruliness. That is why we are put onto the earth to subdue them. Okay, but I'm only getting to the aspects of how to subdue these unruly spirits. That means they are unruly spirits, and the book of Enoch and all these stories have maybe a background to what really happened. But I don't want to go to what happened. I just want to for you to understand what is the victory, how do we have victory over these unruly spirits. So absolutely, these spirits are unruly. They can have absolutely malicious intent. They can certainly do things that are detrimental to you. What I'm saying is that when there is an attack on our lives, we can diffuse it by the changing of our minds and the softening and the sensitizing of our hearts. That's what I'm saying. Did you just get that? I'm not saying it happens because of that, but I'm saying you can diffuse its power and destroy the power of the enemy if you deal with the sarx, the self, man. Did you just get that? Okay, it definitely, the heart, God says the heart has the power to produce, and a good man will produce good things, a bad man can produce bad things. So the heart definitely plays a role in destroying the work of the enemy on the earth, or the work of the destroyer. I don't want to say the word enemy, I'll just say the destroyer, the adversary. Okay, so let's just setting you up for this. Okay, how are you guys doing? Is this all okay? This is transcend, so we're not. Are you guys getting this stuff? Okay, yeah. Great, thank you. Right, so here's the thing, right? Now, if you go back, I'm going to just tell you some stories, okay, that will blow you away. Just some stories, very strange stories. Watch these stories, okay? This is going to be crazy, okay? I'm just trying to show you this word Satan. When Balaam was on a donkey and was going, and he was called to prophesy over the sons of Israel. Remember, Balak had hired him to prophesy over the sons of Israel, something wicked. Then a donkey came, he was riding a donkey, and the donkey refused to move forward. And if you look at it, the story there, when the word Satan is used, I'm just trying to give you some history, okay? When the word Satan is used, Satan is used saying, an angel of the Lord was sent to be a Satan to Balaam. That's what it says. That's what the Bible says. You read it. It's in your Bible. It's very clear. It's not like, this is not interpretation. This is not Kirby Daniels interpretation. This is literal text. An angel of the Lord was sent as Satan. Old Testament. Wow. And it's not Satan, not one person, was sent as the Satan. Wow. Okay. I mean, let's get to. I think it's in Numbers 22 when. I think it's in Numbers 22 when. What is that? That famous story about. Yeah, that's Numbers 22. That's it says. It says here, then God's anger was aroused because he went, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as Satan against him. That's right in Numbers 22, 22. Wow. So I'm just trying to show you, this is a bit crazy. Okay, have we got the idea of Satan wrong? Now please listen in carefully, because I'm reading from the Bible. If you look at, where was it in the Bible where, I think it's in 2 Chronicles 18, where, remember the story when this guy, it's when Ahab was going to war, and the two kings, the king of Israel and the king of Judah, are sitting together, and they want to go to war against their enemies, and they've now decided to work together, and they call Prophet Micah and say, now tell us, all our prophets tell us that we can go to war, that we're going to win. Now, but tell us, because we know God speaks to you. And then he says this. Now listen carefully to this story. This is Old Testament. And the Lord said in verse 19, and the Lord said, so Micah is explaining to them the courts of heaven, what is happening in heaven. And therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing on his right hand. That means principalities and powers are standing before your God, who you call Father. Like, this is not like, there is no war going on here. There is no fight between Satan and now God here, okay, or whoever the spirit is. And then the Lord said, who will persuade Ahab, king of Israel, to go up, that he may fall in Ramoth Gilead? So God now doesn't want Ahab to win. Ahab was a wicked king, okay? And he says, who will go and persuade? Then a spirit, like a Satan, a spirit, we don't know the word, then a spirit came forward and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. Okay? Isn't this like the story in Job? Like God is speaking and then Satan is there as well? Like, what is Satan doing there? It's a question that they've asked, but the fact is, here it is. The spirit came forward and stood before and said, I will go. Who is this? A Satan. A spirit, okay? I will persuade him. And the Lord said to him, in what way? The Lord is asking him. He's not telling him to go and lie. He's just asking these guys to be creative, okay? So he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit, okay? And I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophets. And the Lord said, that's a good idea. You shall persuade him and also prevail. Go out and do so. You see it there? So it wasn't God calling a lying spirit. God is asking for a creative way that a wicked king can be defeated. A spirit, okay, comes up and says, I can do it. I will do it in the character of lies. Okay? God says, okay, yeah, that sounds like that will happen. Why? Because these guys were anyway into a lot of deception and lies anyway. So naturally, that would be frequency, harmonic resonance. No, frequency attracts frequency, I suppose. You get what I'm trying to say? And so he went. This is in the Bible. If you look at the story of Job, people don't get it. From the time I read Job when I was young, I knew that there was a great mystery in this, and it sounded horrific, that God will negotiate with the devil so that I would be destroyed. But that's not what happens. If you understand, a spirit, and again the word there is the Satan, it's not Satan, the Satan, this corporation of different types of spirits stand before God. And they're constantly before God. That's what you need to understand. And they are divine intelligences called, or I won't even go called, but they are doing things. They create the world. And I kept telling this for years, that when the Bible says in the beginning, Elohim created, and says in the beginning God created, the word there is Elohim. It doesn't mean God created. You have to understand the whole Hebrew concept. It means the word Elohim, and they know it, that is, let us make man in our image. That is not God. That is Elohim. It means the spirits, the powers. Okay? Now we're getting to deep waters. Okay? We're getting to deep waters. It means these spirits, these divine intelligences, we don't know what they do. I'm not saying they're good or bad or anything, because there is no concept of good and bad to God. God is all-encompassing. There is no good or bad. You'll reduce him if you say he's good or bad. One thing for sure, he is just, and that makes him pure love. Okay? But good and bad can be relative, man. Your good can be my bad and my bad. Look at America today. They're good and bad. They're so polarized with good and bad. Right? Your good can be my bad can be your good. We don't know. Look at America today, you'll understand the eating from the tree of good and evil. And we've been preaching so long, get yourself out of the tree of good and evil and you'll be able to see things objectively, not from the lenses of judgment. And so you'll stop judging these spirits as well. Because like, the spirit that went and lied is a bad spirit. Or the angel that went and turned and became the Satan is a bad spirit. No, it's the angel. The angel that went and destroyed the angel of death that destroyed Pharaoh, he was Lucifer. No, who said, where is it? He was the devil. No, hey, that's a bad spirit. Don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That was doing a good thing at that time. In fact, the angel that went and then became the Satan and stood against the prophet Balaam at the door was talking to him about the poor donkey. So the Satan is now concerned about donkey and say, why are you beating this poor animal? It's a crazy thing. So it can't be the Satan that you think of in Pentecostal Christianity, right? It has to be something else. The Bible talks about the Satan as the adversary, the whisperer, okay? The one who perverts the way or twists the way of your purpose and your path. Wow. Okay, there is one who will challenge your path and your purpose through a twisting, a slander, a lie. Remember the lying spirit. That's the best characteristic of the corporation of the Satan, is deception and lies. Not in the way the Pentecostals talk about it, but just things beneath, saying that you are not good enough. In the garden, the serpent came, twisted something. He didn't lie when he told them, if you eat of this tree, you'll be like God. He was telling them the truth, but it was in one specific area only, in the knowledge of good and evil. You see, it wasn't a lie, but it was just a subtle twist, a whisper in the void, a whisper in the wilderness. Okay, some of you are in the wilderness at this moment of time, and you have these whispers, you see, slanders. Okay, that's how this thing works, like it worked with Ahab the king. Now, you have to understand, in the divine cosmos, the creator of things, and the way things have been created, God created darkness and light right from the beginning. And he says, I created all these things. So God is all encompassing of all these things. You have to understand it. God loves justice, and he's using man, you, as the administrator of righteousness and justice on the earth. And that's why Jesus came onto the earth, to pay the debt of humanity. Okay? And all these spirits are given unto the sons of God. Okay? He is supposed to rule, and that's why the sons of God, when he placed Adam in the garden, he said, now be fruitful, multiply, and subdue all these spirits. And make sure that all these spirits are doing the right thing. It's like, you see, you've been given a company, like some of you may be taking a business that is being destroyed. My God, how many times? Sometimes I wonder, I've taken businesses that are absolutely destroyed in pieces. What is it? It's like me in the void, thrown into the garden and say, here, look at all these things destroyed. Look at these people. Look what they're doing. There's so much of things that you need to do. Is someone good or someone bad? No, don't make any judgments. Just make sure that you are the chairman, and you will now allow God to have preeminence in your life. That the Son, Yahweh, Jesus, whoever you want to name it in the New Testament, Yahweh is I am who I am. That now you will have authority over every single thing and subdue everything and bring the whole ecosystem to a perfect equilibrium and a perfect cohesive working unit. That is your job. If you start judging good, bad, evil, all this kind of stuff, what's going to happen is you forget that all these spirits are under your authority now, and you are supposed to now bring shalom into the whole land. We don't know what happened before, okay? Read the book of Enoch, it explains what could have happened. But now I want you to know that you've been given the authority to bring the shalom. All these spirits are under your belt and control. I mean, just understand that even some of the Eastern Orthodox Christianity, which is the original type of Christianity, some of their theology actually talk about the redemption of some of these spirits. Do you know that? Even in the book of Enoch, like the book of Enoch talks about how Enoch is transcending the realms, and he's seeing some of these spirits that are caught up with their bad stuff, where they're going crazy and doing all kinds of things onto the earth. And it says that Enoch tries to pray for them. Just imagine that. Do you understand that? I want you to give you the historical concept that they had. We Pentecostals won't even think of. Just imagine Enoch is taken, before he's taken into heaven, he passes the realm and he sees in the second heaven, he sees all these spirits that are chained and some are doing wrong things, and he offers to pray for them. Think about that. Oh my God. That's the old, Enoch is quoted, the Bible quotes Enoch. The book of Jubilee is quoted by these people. The people who wrote the Bible, the old saints, understood things very differently. So you were called as the Melchizedek priesthood to bring shalom and peace to the whole world. And so we need to know our place. If we think in our deep subconscious, unconscious, there is a devil that is going to get me and he's going to destroy me and all this kind of stuff, and if those things are there and we treat him like an enemy, believe me, there is a fight between principalities and powers, yes. But it's not with God, it's with you to take them under your authority. You've got to subdue them. And to subdue them, you need to know who they are and who you are. And that's what I'm trying to explain. So, like in the book of Job, Satan comes, he's around, he's there. Like you just read in 2 Chronicles 18, where a spirit comes. Looks like the spirit that came is neutral. We don't know. He wasn't a lion spirit before. He was just a spirit. And then he becomes a lion spirit. I'm just trying to show you. Okay? They have divine intelligence. They're called to do certain things. And they're supposed to do certain things well. And so, there you go. The Satan comes before God in Job. And he tells God something. And God is constantly trusting us. Just imagine Judas comes to Jesus. I'll show you what God is like, his character. And in 1 Corinthians 13, it explains it. He says that love always hopes. Love always trusts. So when God looks at you, he's always hoping and always trusting. That's what 1 Corinthians 13 says. He's always hoping in you. He's always trusting in you. And so when Judas comes and kisses Jesus, and it says that Satan came into him, right? Okay, so when now he has become the adversary, he's become the slanderer, whisperer. Jesus knew that because he says, go and do what you have to do. Remember in Passover, go and do what you do. So he saw the Satan enter. Come on. So when Judas comes to him, he holds him and says, my friend. He trusted him to the very end. That even in that second, that something else could shift. Just think, God always trusts. And so when, I'm talking about the book of Job, when Satan comes and tells God, no, Job is a naughty man, he's not as you think. You think he's good, huh? No, I'm telling you, this guy would curse you, this and that. And in my Sunday school, they told me, and it baffled me. I couldn't understand how blind these guys are. And that's the time I realized that my Sunday school teachers were wrong. Because they told me that Job never cursed God. And I read Job. Job curses God immediately. Man, if I complain the way Job complains, I'll tell you, they won't even call me a Christian. Job, he whines, he complains, he tells God all kinds of things, man. Okay, so where the heck did they get that from? I don't understand. Because what the Satan told God was true. Wow. God says, I trust him, man. He's a cool guy. I like him. He's good. He's a good guy, cool guy. This guy is saying, are you crazy? Do you know what? God, you trust, you're really good and just. You really love people, I'll tell you. But these guys are not good. These guys, you don't know what he's up to. You know, his heart is different. And what Satan said was true. Okay. That is why he had a right. And then God comes as a protector when he finds it out and he says, okay, you know what, but don't touch his life. You see, you cannot touch his life. But when he was touched certain things, there were certain things. And now please understand, again I'm going to bring a caveat in. The devil does not just attack us because of the condition of our heart. But by changing the condition of our heart, we can stop the attack. The Satan, this corporation of these things, just attack us, okay, because of their fallen nature, because they're in chaos. Okay, we have to take authority. Unless we take authority over them, the attack won't stop. But the way we take authority over them is by changing our hearts and minds and trusting in God's justice. By crucifying the ego. You understand that? Crucifying the flesh with lust and his desires, we can stop the attack. Wow. Okay, and that's what happens to Job at the end. Okay, anyway. Now, so, how are we with time? Is it good? Yeah? Okay. Man, if you're watching me for the first time on WOW Transcend Group, I've got 3 teachings on this kind of stuff. Who is Satan? Okay, it'll blow you away. It'll empower you. Christ will become victorious in your life. Okay? Once you know him, you can have victory over him. Okay? Once you know the devil, you can have victory over him. Okay? Now, so here it is. Yeah. So, now, can I go on to something serious? Okay, so I've given you a background to the Satan story in the Bible, right? Okay, so ideally, there are divine intelligences doing different things. Okay, you are the Son of God. The world is being given to you so that you can rule and reign over all these principalities and powers. I'm going to take you back long way, because where are we going to go? We're going to go into Deuteronomy 32. This is going to blow you away, okay? Really cool stuff, okay? Watch this. Deuteronomy 32 says something mind-blowing. Deuteronomy 32. Okay. So, just understand that alchemistry is a big part of the Bible. When we say alchemistry, there is a alchemistry that happens inside of you. Why God takes the light spirit and then he brings the flesh. See, he brings the darkness and the light together, always mixing the darkness and the light. He divides it, and then you're called to bring it together. You understand that? Why does God take the people and then put them in Canaan, and when he puts it in Canaan, in the promised land, there are giants? You see? So it's divine alchemistry. The adversary makes you stronger. You have to have therapeutic stress to get you stronger. Do you understand that? If you get too much of it, you'll die. That's why he says he never tests you beyond your patience. What is he trying to morph you into? Into the divine Son of God, Jesus Christ. So therefore, the ego needs to die so that the gold comes out. Fire has to refine mud and all this stuff so that gold can come out. You see the divine alchemistry, you have to see that these things dwell together, light and darkness. And the mixing of the two causes the Son of God to come out. Jesus had to go through the divine alchemistry. Okay, the flesh man had to die and the resurrected man comes out. You have to go through the divine alchemistry. If you're going through something now, just understand, don't worry, it's the divine alchemistry happening. God is not letting it happen. God is not making it happen. It's just the whole creation before eons and times were created like this. But now God is coming to save you. Okay, now watch this. Okay, so this is the story. So now God is coming to save you, but the way the world works, the cosmos works, is the way the cosmos works. The algorithms have been set for eons. Okay, now, but He's given us a way out through the cross. So, if you look at the story of Moses, now Moses, they say it's disputed, but a lot of people say that he wrote the Old Testament. But even if he didn't write the first 5 books, say he didn't write the first 5 books, he had some really good understanding of the first 5 books, and also maybe of Genesis and stuff like that, and how things happened. And he's talking about an amazing thing here. Okay, and I just want you to watch this. And he takes us 70, once they get onto the other side, before he passes and before they're going into promised land. Remember promised land? Okay, he takes 70. How many people did Jesus take? 70. Okay, so he takes 70 of the elders, the 70 tribes, and he brings them together. Interesting, okay? And you have to see this, okay? Listen carefully. In verse 8, he's giving them a song. He's singing a song to them. And he says, he's now giving you history, some history that we don't know. It's not even in this book. Maybe in different books. Maybe we can't find it. But this is some history he's giving. Okay? He says, when the Most High divided their inheritance to the nations. Now, I just want you to understand. It says, when the Most High, the word Most High there is a Hebrewic word called El Elyon. Okay? Now, the word El Elyon is the same name that Melchizedek, when he meets Abraham, comes and says, he says, who are you? I am the priest of El Elyon. Okay? Because El Elyon means the Most High God. But Abraham, despite what you've been told, was not a worshipper of the sun and the moon and the stars. He was a worshipper of a god or gods called El Elyon. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Because that's when you understand in the beginning God created, it means Elohim's created. That means there were principalities and powers that created. Obviously under God's permission, but it was Elohim's. So up to the Melchizedek, people knew God as a corporation of Elohims. That's all you need to understand. Okay? Godlings, a corporation of godlings. When Melchizedek came to Abraham, he said, good that you have known the Elohims, because they're all under the El Elyon, which is the God of the Most High. Wow. Okay. Now, for Christians to get this, the Elohim, or this God Elohim, the Hebrew tradition is 8,000 years old, if you just understand that, okay? The oldest book in the Hebrew is carbon dated 8,000 years. If you look at the Rig Veda that is in India, it's carbon dated 8,000 years. The Indians say they have about 25,000 years of history, which is okay, because the Hebrew people had also the same, because remember, it's Egyptian. Okay, Moses is an Egyptian prince, so he's writing 8,000 years ago, but the technology is far longer or bigger or greater. There were, before that, 14 billion years of humanity. 8,000 years is a joke. Okay, so please. Okay, what you think all for the rest of the 14 billion years of humanity, you think that there were no God. God was not silent, there was a God. Okay, and they were the Elohims. Okay, and if you look at the history of Elohim, he's not Jewish. He is Mesopotamian and Sumerian Elohim. Okay, so Abraham knew the Elohim, and when he met Melchizedek, he heard that there is El Elohim, the God of all the Elohims. That's what you need to get. So when you see this, and this is what I want you to understand, you'll understand what Jesus was doing when he took the 70 and sent them out in the New Testament. Then you'll understand Jesus the victor. So he says, when the Most High, now Moses is saying, when the Most High divided the inheritance of the nations, the word nation means ethnos, he divided the people. When he separated the sons of Adam, you see he's going back all long away. He separated all the ethnos, all the tribes of the people. These 70 he separated. And he set boundaries for the people. So he said, you will be understand, so you will be in this page, you will be this. And he set boundaries for the people. According to what? Listen to me. According to the number of the children of Israel. Now if you understand that word, just click a Hebraic translation. He says, he set boundaries, he separated the nations, he took the sons of Adam, the Most High, the El Elohim, separated all the men according to, that word there, according to the Elohims. That's exactly what is there. And that is why you'll see throughout the Bible, you'll see that David in the Psalms will say, I came into the assembly of the Elohims, and Lord, you are the God above all gods. The Hebraic understanding, unlike the Pentecostals today, don't think that there are no other gods. They knew there are other gods, otherwise Rachel would not run away with her father's idols. So, they knew that there are other gods. The contention was that God was all greater, and when I say greater, please understand this, that God was the God of those gods. Did you just get that? Your God is the God of those gods, of the Elohims, the godlings. So when Abraham became the priest of the El Elohim, so Pentecostalism doesn't believe that there are other gods. The Hebraic tradition believes that there are other gods, but they are in relationship with the God of the other gods. And it's constantly in the Hebrew Bible. It's subtle, but it is huge. Because you will understand that constantly and continuously, people are worshipping angels, people are worshipping even the snake that they put on the cross. These people got together and worshipped it. And if you see that word snake there, when they put that in across, the word is seraphim. It means angel. Okay? So you'll realize that these guys were worshipping different gods, and these different angels at any point of time were getting worshipped and working for the people because that's their job. So I just want to give you a context. God wants to relate with us, not in this domination theology concept, but for us to know that, hey, I stand above all the godlings, my creations. And hey, I want you to know, you are my son. All these guys, if you want to call them demon, that's your problem. The word demon actually comes from an old world means godlings. Okay, that's what all it means. Okay, so I want you to know that you're in charge of all these guys. Okay, now let's see what you're going to do with it. Okay, I want you to know I had a plan for the earth. Let's see how you are going to establish and create the earth now with all that is before you. Are you going to let them rule over you? I've got 3 dogs, my God. Okay, these 3 dogs, if I wasn't the boss in this house, Guess who is going to be ruling the show? Rafa dog, not God, Rafa dog. Okay? He'll be ruling. I mean, he's huge. If you see him, his paws are huge. He can take you into pieces. But thank God, I know who I am. So you're put in a world with all these beings. Who are you? Question. Okay? So it says here, Elohim divided the inheritance among the ethnos. He separated the sons of Adam, and he set boundaries among the people according to the Elohim. So he made people according to their gods. Okay, that's what it says. You know, the Sri Lankans, the Indian has gods everywhere. He made the people according to their gods. For the Lord's portion is his people. Now then he says the word Lord here, but he says, but Jehovah's people is Jacob. That means Elohim gave Israel to Jehovah God. Wow. Everyone else was given different gods. Different people were given different gods. But Israel was given to Jehovah. Wow. That's his son. Come on, come on, come on. Right in the Old Testament, right there. That's why Israel comes and says, hey, do you know the word Elijah means Yahweh is Elohim. That means Yahweh is God. So now Israel as a nation, his God, my father's house has many mansions, he says. Okay? Come on, Jesus says it. He says, in my father's house there are many mansions, but you and I have got a place together. You see? Now we take Jacob's God. Do you understand that? That's the power that has been given to you. And we realize that Jacob's God was the Most High God. Okay, and that doesn't mean we're trying to rule and reign over people, but we're just trying to say that God is not fighting with these guys. He's the creator of all things. But he's given you a position to rule and reign on the earth over all gods. Wow. I won't go there, but I'm just going to show, I'll finish off with this. This is Deuteronomy 32. I just read it out to you, and now we'll just jump into Luke 10, and you'll see that Jesus does the same thing. Watch this. Luke 10. This is crazy stuff, I'll tell you. But don't worry. Very soon, everyone will be getting this stuff. Okay? Because you can't stick to ignorance. You have to be able to understand. There are absolute contradictions otherwise. If you don't see it in the Bible, you have to see it. Luke 10. After these things, okay, now Jesus is about to start his ministry, okay, and he's about to go to the cross, okay, and this is what it says. After these things, the Lord appointed 70 others also. Is it there? And he sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and every place. Is it there? So he said, he took the 70 again. And he said, now, remember the 70 that have all other gods? People with other gods? He says, now, you go to those places. And what are you supposed to say? And he says, you're supposed to say, when you get there in verse 9, you've got to heal the sick there and say to them, the kingdom of the Most High God has now come. See, you're supposed to go into the 70, and now you're supposed to declare the authority that you are now the Son. That's what it says there. And it says, verse 11, if you dust the feet of a certain place, okay, and wipe it, it says, you will tell them the kingdom of God came close to you, but you rejected it. You see? And so that is Luke 10, when he's explaining our call is to go to all the earth, and all these spirits that are doing all the things that they wanted to do, you're supposed to go and declare to them that the priest of the Most High God is here, and not to fight with them. You don't fight with them. They will. Every knee shall bow down to you. You don't fight with them, you just make sure that they know that you are there. Okay? Now watch this. And so this is Luke 10. After he's saying this whole thing, listen carefully. Verse 17. Amazing. Then the 70 returned with joy, saying, Lord, even the word spirits there, or demons there, is the word, it means little Elohims, or godlings. It means godlings, okay? It says, Lord, even the godlings, the spirits, are subject to your name. And then he says, verse 19, and he said to them, I saw the Satan, you see, fall like lightning from heaven. Okay, do you just see that there? Okay, I'll explain that a little later. Behold, I give you authority to trample over the serpents and the scorpions and over all power of the enemy. Nothing shall by any means hurt you. Do you just get that? Now they realize that all these Elohims have been given, every principality, every power, every throne, every dominion, they are now having power over all that. Is it there? So he says, nothing by any means shall hurt you. You're in charge of every one of them. Man, I don't know whether you get this, because it really establishes Jesus in the right authority and you in his place. This is just amazing. I mean, Pentecostal charismatics are fighting with this, and every time they go around some temple or something, they're trying to bind and loose and stuff like that. There's no necessity. All things were created by him, for him, through him, for you. Okay? These things are doing all kinds of things, and you just have to align them. Realign yourself. Adversaries, you realign yourself. Get thee behind me, Satan, is realign yourself. Adversary, the one who perverts my path, you realign yourself and let me move and walk. These are divine intelligences doing certain things, and of course they can be malicious, of course they are fallen by nature, of course they can attack you, of course they can do bad things to you, but I'm trying to give you your position to get them under your authority. Okay, now watch this. Okay, so you see, he says even the spirits now are subject under us. That's why they rejoice. They realize, oh my God, every spirit, when we went to the 70 places, the 70 cities, there are different Elohims. All of them are under us. Not like dominion, like control you, but just to say, hey, they all recognize us as the sons of the Most High God. Isn't that awesome? Wow, isn't that just powerful stuff? Okay, can we just do one last scripture and stop? Are you guys okay? Yeah? Okay. So let's go into Colossians, okay? Christ the victor. Now listen carefully to the victory statements. And tell me if you can't see exactly what you saw there in this scripture. Watch Colossians, okay? Watch Colossians. Verse 15, we just read a bit, okay? And we'll finish with this. Last couple of chapters, but I want to do a bit of reading. Listen carefully. He is the image of the invisible God. Who? Jesus. Who is the firstborn over all creation. Wow. Over all creation, with the heaven and earth. For by him all things were created. So he created, by him all things were created, that are in heaven and that are on the earth, visible and invisible, whether they are thrones, whether they are dominions, whether they are principalities or powers, all things, every one of those Elohims, those godlings, every one of the godlings were created. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things consist. And he is the head of the body, which is the church. So he is the helmet of salvation, remember? He's the head. Now, I bear the throne, the breastplate of righteousness, justice. I bear the belt of truth. And guess what? Now, I am now taking over what God has given me to bring peace and shalom to the earth, to realign and synchronize every power and authority that is not synchronized unto the Son of God. That's your job. You have now got God's problems. You need to deal with those things. Okay? So you see, then he goes on to say this, and this is what I'd like to show you. I love this one. For it pleased, in verse 14, for it pleased the Father that in him all the fullness should dwell. Wow. And by him to reconcile half of the things. Every principality, every power, every throne, dominion has been what? reconciled. You see? And by him to reconcile all things to himself, by him, whether things on earth or things in heaven, having made peace through the blood of the cross. Wow! Pentecostal charismatics, you're fighting against demons. The Bible says here that you are reconciled to them. Wow! You just get that? Guys, isn't it cool? You're reconciled to them and you have peace. Why are you fighting them? Take them under authority. So your struggle is with principalities and powers. Do you understand that? Your struggle is with principalities and powers. Of course. What is the struggle? The struggle of faith. The struggle is there's one fight that we fight. And that's, the Bible talks of only one fight that you fight. It doesn't say fight with principalities and powers. It says struggle with. Your struggle is not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and powers. And the fight is the good fight of faith. All you need is to know that you have authority over all these things, whether it's sickness, disease, poverty, whatever it is. You have authority. There is no sort of fight that you have to fight with them. You just come into who you are in Christ Jesus. Okay? Do you understand that? So he has made peace. Now watch this. I'm going to read more to you. Okay? This is crazy stuff. So it says, verse 26, the mystery which has been hidden from ages and from generations, but now has been revealed to his saints. So it says, this mystery has been hidden from every age and generation. So that means the book of Jubilee didn't have it, even Enoch didn't have it. Wow. Even Elijah didn't have it. But it's been revealed to you. So Enoch could have been written through his perspective. Moses wrote as a slave master and a slave. So I can't get his perspective. I can get aspects of it. It's authentically God, but it doesn't. I've got my own experience with God, the same God. Do you understand that? So I take the books in the Bible, all of them, including Enoch and all that, but that's from their perspective. But it has not been revealed to them, but it's been revealed to us. What has been revealed? Christ in you. You see it here? To them, God willed to make known what are the riches of the glory of the mystery among the Gentiles, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. I am who I am. As he is, so you will be on the earth. This is a mystery that has not been revealed to every generation, but has been revealed to you, which is coming to you. Come on, man. Okay? That means there's nothing that you need to fight against. Everything has been reconciled. You just need to make peace with that. You already have peace with that. Okay? Wow. This is crazy, huh? Now watch this. I love this one, verse 9 in chapter 2. For in him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. Wow. The whole Godhead lives bodily in you. And you are complete in him. Listen carefully. Who is the head of all principality and power. Oh my God. You are the head of all demons. That's what it says. He talks about the principalities and the powers, the thrones, the dominions. Do you understand that? Reconcile. You are the head of all those things. Mowgli, who is the male in this house, doggy, is not the head. Rafa is a bigger male dog, is not the head. I am the head. I'm not a dog, but I am the head. I'm a human being. You are not a demon or a godling, a little godling, but you have the God, the El Elohim sitting inside of you. So you are the head of all these things. Whoa! Isn't it cool? Okay, wow. And then he talks about the circumcision of the heart. He talks about the sensitivity that you're supposed to have. Okay, now listen to Christ the Victor. Are you ready? So he says, now you got to be sensitive. You have to have the circumcision of the heart, the sensitivity, because you died, you were buried with him, and you were raised with him. Okay, and now it says you're dead now. And he says here, verse 14, having wiped out the handwriting of requirements and the whole law that was against us, which was contrary to you, he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the cross. He has disarmed the principalities. You see, before that it was against you. But if you know who you are, they have no power. He's disarmed the principalities, the powers, and he made them a public spectacle over them, because now you are the head. He's disarmed them. Wow, Christ the victor. Christ the victor. Is it there? It's amazing. And you can keep reading more. In chapter 3, if you are raised with Christ, seek those things that are above, where Christ is seated. You see, set your mind on things above. So where do we lose? When we start giving into these principalities and powers and thrones and dominions, thinking that they are in contention with us, that they are attacking us, that they can destroy us, any kind of talk like that, man, then they know that you are not their head. My dogs at home will bite me if I don't know that I'm the head. They are good dogs. They're not bad dogs. But they will bite me. It's good and evil in them. My good dog can become a dog that can attack me because I don't know who I am. What happens if I start lighting lamps to Rafa and putting flowers at Rafa every time he comes and worshipping Rafa? He's going to think that he is God. Do you understand that? And because of that, he can now have authority over me. The same way, if I don't know how to take authority over him, if I have not practiced that, if I don't know my identity, that angel can become the Satan. Come on. That angel, that protector who was given to me, Rafa was given to me, this dog Rafa, in my house, it's huge, you must see him. He was given to me to protect me. But he can become the very enemy against me because I don't know the divine alchemistry. I don't know to turn this beast into the protector it's supposed to be. I'll leave you with that. That was good. Okay. Love you and we'll speak soon. Bless you. Keep watching.